Today, for the nightly news, I will be your host, Gregory Fingerbottom. This just in, we got breaking news. We have reports that a UFO just crashed off the coast of Germany. Reports show that 2 suspects are salvaging the wreckage as we speak. Only Lord knows what technology that they have found inside that wreckage.
Many months later.
I'm all washed up. We'll never know what happened to all that technology that those 2 people found in that crash.
One eternity later.
Yes, this must be it. YouTubers have been seen making videos on this new tattoo machine, and the reports lead them directly to the UFO crash. This new technology is called the Acus M1. YouTubers like Oliver Air, G. Dickens, and Enrice have all done reviews on it already, and it looks like Adam Dark Lord is about to do a review right now. Let's check what he has to say. Thank you, Gregory Fingerbottom. That wasn't cringy at all. My name's Adam, and I'm an artist out in northern Wisconsin. I don't know how I can go back to using any other tattoo machine other than this one. No other tattoo machine even comes close. I realize this is a very long video, guys. I'm going to be putting timestamps down below so you guys can skip around to any subjects throughout this video. Now, I am going to be going through all the pros and cons on this Acus M1 tattoo machine, so I suggest if you guys are thinking about buying this tattoo machine to watch from the beginning to the end of the video so you guys have a good idea on what you're purchasing. Not only are we going to be checking out the Acus M1 tattoo machine, we're also going to be checking out all of the grips for it. We actually have the large grip right here, the plus grip, and then over here we have the heavy grip and then the standard grip, and then we actually have their 2 newest cam like stroke lengths, and then we have 3 other stroke lengths in here. We're going to be checking out every single product from Acus. We're also going to be comparing it to some other tattoo machines on the market, and then we're also going to be testing it on some practice skin. I was pretty hesitant on getting this tattoo machine. I guess I didn't fully understand it, and it kind of scared me that it was a new company that just came out. I actually got to thank you guys at home for commenting so much on my videos telling me to get it, because this tattoo machine is a total game changer. First off, the company has 2 employees, and they are both engineers, and they're both from Cheyenne Tattoo Machines. I actually joked at the beginning of the video saying that they reverse engineered the UFO craft. That is not true. They actually have many years of experience designing tattoo machines for Cheyenne Tattoo Supplies. This is actually one of the engineers that worked on this tattoo machine, and we will see here, this is his Instagram page. His name is Oliver. We will see here that he has done a lot of work on a lot of popular tattoo machines. So which one is this? This looks like the Hawk Pen. So he designed the Hawk Pen. He is the literal godfather of tattooing right here, one of them. And here is, this one was really cool because it's one of the first DC brushless motors for the Sol Nova family. So for Cheyenne, this was actually one of their prototype tattoo machines. You guys could, I'll actually link this down in the description below, and you guys could check out his whole Instagram page here. And look at this, dude. Whole bunch of different things. So we'll see here that he worked on the Sol Nova Unlimited, and then some of the Sol Terra type machines right here. This looks like the Unio. I don't know which one this is. This is obviously the Sol Nova, the original. He has worked on a lot of the Cheyenne tattoo machines. Those are all prototypes I showed you, and he has a lot more on his Instagram page. And then here's the Instagram page to the other owner of Acus Tattoo Machines. His name is Helge, and here we'll see that he has no photos here on Instagram, but he's also worked at Cheyenne Tattoo Machine, and he's an engineer, and we thank you very much for coming out with the Acus Tattoo Machine. And the level of quality you would expect with a Cheyenne Tattoo Machine, you are getting that here with this Acus machine. We're gonna head over to the workbench right now. We're gonna do a full unboxing, and I'm gonna show you guys what makes this tattoo machine so special. All right, first off, I just want to say that I already put about 200 hours onto this tattoo machine, so things have been used, and while we're going through this, not everything might be in the exact spot of when I got it, but I tried to do my best to put it all back together like how I got it. All right, so I talked to Acus through Instagram, and they have provided me with all this stuff. I got all this stuff in one cardboard box, and then loose inside that cardboard box was this literature. So let's see what all this is. So this is a magnet.
This was actually on the refrigerator of my house for the past month. I had to bring it back here just for the filming of this, but this is a magnet. And then we get a sticker. We actually get 2 stickers. Now this stuff was loose inside the box, so I don't know if everyone gets it, but I got it. So 2 stickers, a magnet, and then I also, oh, the bishop. And then we also got an instruction manual, or a manual showing you what you all get with the machine. And we're gonna go over all this in the video, guys. Otherwise you guys could pause it and read it. But that's actually pretty cool. A nice little diagram showing you the machine all apart and stuff like that, which this machine does come fully apart. It is fully autoclavable, other than this part right here. You'll see it has like the motherboard and electronics. That is the only part that is not autoclavable. Same with like the O-rings, rubber bands or whatever on it. Those are also obviously not autoclavable, but otherwise everything else is made out of aluminum, and you could easily take it all apart and clean it. All right, so taking a look at the case, in general, it is a very nice case all the way around. Everything is very nice on the inside. Nothing's rattling around or anything. We got 2 zippers. The zippers do not have their logo on it. I actually prefer this. These are actually like really nice, like little leather zippers. So it just feels high quality in general. It feels pretty good in my hands. All right, let's undo the zippers and see what we all get. Woo! The first thing we're gonna see right away is this piece of cardboard, and on the piece of cardboard it says, "Thank you for being a part of the family," and then it says the M1 Plus, because this is actually the Acus M1 Plus tattoo machine. The only thing that makes it the Plus tattoo machine is that it has the bigger grip on it. It has the Plus grip, and then it says, "Welcome to Acus Tattoo Machine." We'll also see that it has cutouts for the machine. It has cutouts for this tool here, which we'll go over in a second. Another tool right there, and then it actually has holes right here for the cam lengths to stick out of it, because they're just under this cardboard here. And then we will see here that the 3.7 millimeter stroke one does not have a hole. That is because it says right here that is already installed in your tattoo machine. And then we also got the batteries here. These are 18500 batteries. That is the type of battery, and then they are 2000 milliamps. So that is the amount of juice that they can hold inside the battery, 2000 milliamp batteries. So this is just a piece of cardboard, nothing on the back. We're just gonna pull it out. We're gonna see right away, we got the different stroke lengths right here. So this is the 3.0, the 3.7, and the 4.5. The 3.7 is actually in here in the package right now, because installed on mine is the additional 4.1 stroke cam length that you guys could also get on the website. I actually am rocking that right now inside the machine. That's why the 3.7 that is standard and installed and that they suggest you use for everything, that is why it's in here, because I'm using the 4.1 currently. This is what the cam and drive bar look like up close. You'll actually see that it says the stroke length on it. So this says 4.5, so you guys won't get any of your cams mixed up with each other. You'll see that this is one of the smaller cams right here. You'll see that it has a smaller counterweight on the end of it here, and then on the back side you'll see that the hole that the pin on the motor actually goes through is actually a little closer to the center. That is kind of how it gets that different stroke length to it, because the drive bar itself, they're both the same length. So the drive bars are the same length, the cams are what's different, and that's how you get the difference in stroke length. I know that that was pretty obvious. I just like to explain it for people if they don't understand. And then right here, my video is a little overexposed, but right here you guys can see it. It says, "Keep the push rod well greased." Push rod, drive bar, same thing. And then we will see here that Acus has supplied us with 4 holes for batteries, and they have provided us with 2 batteries, so that leaves us with 2 extra spots where you guys could actually buy extra batteries off of Amazon. They are very cheap. The batteries are very cheap. They're like $5 to $10. Acus would probably suggest you guys buy them off their website. But then we will also see here, this is the battery, and on the battery it says 18500. That is actually the size of the battery. That is the type of battery that it is. It is an 18500 battery, just like if you had like a AAA battery or something at the store. That is like the size of the battery. 18500 is the size. 2000 milliamps is pretty standard for most tattoo machines. That's going to get you around 5 to 7 hours of runtime at about 7 volts. And then there's a bunch of other information on here. I had someone message me on Instagram and actually tell me that this battery is better than the other batteries. I don't know if that's just because they love Acus, but in general, as far as I'm concerned, this battery is the same as all 18500 batteries on the market. 2000 milliamps, Very standard battery for a tattoo machine. And then Acus also provided us with some tools. This is the tool to take off the cam inside the machine. So the cam has a little grub screw on it, and this tool right here is how you take that grub screw off the cam to replace it and change your stroke lengths. And then they also provided us with this tool. This is a tool to take apart the machine. And the cool thing about this is that it's actually 3D printed. So you can see some like the 3D printing lines on there, which is cool because, you know, people make stuff and you don't always think of how it's made. Well, here we can tell right here that this is 3D printed and they didn't sand it down, which is cool. So that's pretty cool. And because Acus does not have a charger port on this tattoo machine, they had to provide us with a charger dock. It's unfortunate. I really wish that there was a charger port on this, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But this is the standard charger dock that you get with almost every single tattoo machine nowadays. It's the standard eFest charger dock. I have a whole bunch of these at the tattoo studio, so I actually haven't even used this one just because I already have some already plugged in at the studio. Standard, you got 2 battery slots to charge 2 batteries at a time right there. The reason why all companies are using this charger dock over all the other ones is because this one actually went and got all the testing certification right there, and some states require you to have all test badges to sell a product like this for batteries. So that is what's up with that. And this is the cord for the charger dock, just standard type C to USB. All right, and then at the top of the package here, we will see this is actually a workbench. So when you're taking apart your tattoo machine, you can actually set different parts of your machine in these holes to hold the stuff while you're working on it, which is really cool. Never seen a company do that yet. That is innovating on their case, at least. And then obviously just the standard silicone stuff in there, so no moistures in your package. More stickers, another magnet, and then this is the user manual. I'm not going to go through any of this. Lots of words, really cool. All right, and then the short guide to using the Acus M1. Putting the battery in, twisting the grip. Fairly basic. We're going to go over all this stuff, guys. Otherwise, you guys can pause it and read it. And then we got another little pamphlet here, probably just telling you specifics on the battery so you don't burn your house down and that they are not liable. And then we got a silicone grease. This goes on your cam on at the end of your drive bar right there. Anytime you replace your cam, they actually give you grease to put it on it. Some companies tell you not to grease it. This company tells you to grease it because they are not dumb. And then we also got a whole bunch of O-rings here. We got an additional drive bar inside this, so in case one of yours breaks, you can put it on your cam because they pop right off. The cam removes from the drive bar. And then just a whole bunch of O-rings and stuff like that. Real cool. As for this case and what I think can be better with it is that I wish it was smaller, kind of like this, the Cheyenne case. As you can see here, the Cheyenne case is about half the width of the Acus case. Currently, this Acus case, all these companies keep trying to come out with all these big fancy cases. This case does not fit in my tool bench. I have a lot of stuff in my tool bench at work and it just does not fit. With that said, it's still pretty impressive on what they could all fit inside of this case. I still feel like they could make it a little bit smaller, and especially with this workbench, like I'm never going to use that. As cool as it is, I feel like they could have just did 3 circles, you know, like this way, and then cut the whole case down that far. You know, like that is wasted space up there, and I feel like you could have somehow made up for that space down here somehow and give us a little smaller case. Also, it would be nice if these workbench holes were just a little bit smaller, because then my additional grips would fit in them more snug, because right now they're just very loose. This case is still way better than the cardboard cases that some companies are still using. All right, taking a look at the body of this tattoo machine, we are going to notice it has a very simple, sleek, and clean looking design. That clean and simple approach is carried throughout the entire machine, all the way to the interface located on the back end of the tattoo machine. The interface consists of a 1/2-inch OLED display and sealed rubber buttons on the back. Holding down on the center button will turn on your machine. Pressing or holding down on the positive and negative buttons on the left and right will cycle through your hertz. The motor on this tattoo machine could go down to 36 hertz and all the way up to 140 hertz. The hertz on your tattoo machine is the frequency that your needle is going. If you're running at 90 hertz, your needle in your tattoo machine is going back and forth 90 times per second. Here is a chart that Acus made if you want to compare your hertz to voltage on their tattoo machine. Holding down on the main Acus button for a brief period of time will allow you to cycle through your M mode, or also known as your motor characteristics mode. Cycling through these modes is going to change the level of torque fed to the motor of your tattoo machine. We are going to dive more into this feature in just a little bit. On your screen, it also features a battery life display so you can see how much life your batteries have left, and then holding down on the Acus button is how you shut your machine off. Taking a look at the outside of the tattoo machine, we will see that the finish process that they used was more of a grippy, unrefined finish look on the machine. This is the same type of finish that we got on the Critical Torque machine, and I actually prefer this. It just feels higher quality, looks higher quality, it scratches less compared to a shiny surface like here on the Flux, and it leaves less fingerprints. I only wish that they carried that matte finish look onto that center ring of the machine as well. They could easily make alternate versions of that where they sell it in different finishes and colors and post them up on their website. To open up the inside of the machine, you're going to want to unscrew the back like this. If you try to open up the tattoo machine while it's running, it will auto shut off. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it is due to a light sensor located right here on the tattoo machine. Flipping the machine around, we will see a micro USB port. This port is specifically for updating your tattoo machine. It is not made for charging. When you receive your tattoo machine, they will provide you with the latest software already installed on your tattoo machine. Even though that port is on the inside of the machine, I wish it was a Type-C port and that it provided charging. I'm still looking for a tattoo machine with removable batteries like this that also has the Type-C port on board for charging. The only thing that would change my mind about having a Type-C port for charging is for them to make a machine that's slightly bigger that has the 3200 milliamp battery. This tattoo machine is so perfect as it is, but I would literally punch a baby in the face to get a version with a bigger battery. If you do tattoos that are under 5 hours long every single day, then you'll be fine. Under the battery, you'll see they have some test badges so you know that the machine was well tested and that it won't burn your building down. Here I am taking the Plus grip off. The grip spins smoothly. It does not click like an FK Irons grip. The Plus grip is my favorite grip. It is 40 millimeters wide and it weighs 65 grams. Removing the grip will expose this beautiful milled piece of aluminum. A lot of other tattoo machines will have this part anodized a different color, so you will not notice the ink on it. In this case, they left it raw, so if you get it dirty, you can tell. Using the 3D printed tool provided to us, we can take apart the machine even further. It is very important to note that this 3D printed tool is not for spinning the silver aluminum part. Gripping onto the back half of your tattoo machine while trying to spin this aluminum part could break your tattoo machine. Instead, this 3D printed tool is meant to give you leverage when spinning the black ring in the center of the machine. That black ring in the center is what that back half and that front silver half is actually screwed to, holding together the entire machine. The more you take apart the machine and look at it while it's in your hands, the more little things you notice that makes this machine so genius. This is one of the only tattoo machines on the market that allows you to take it apart like this and to take this front half off to clean it. After any major tattoo that I do, I take the whole machine apart, including this part, and I wipe it down with Maticide. You guys can also take these rubber bands off and autoclave it if you wish. Almost no other tattoo machine competitor allows you to do this, making the Acus tattoo machine one of the cleanest tattoo machines on the market. Here is a look at the highest quality motor that they currently make for a tattoo machine. This is a custom-made German FAULHABER motor specifically made just for this tattoo machine. I did some snooping on the Acus tattoo machine's Instagram page and I found where they listed in the comments the product number to the motor. I then went to the FAULHABER website where I typed in that product number for that motor, and this is the motor that popped up. When comparing it to the product number on the motor installed inside of my tattoo machine, the product number is off by 1 letter. I'll link the data sheet to that motor down in the description, but because the product number is off by 1 letter, I still believe it could be a custom version of that motor. Anytime you take the tattoo machine apart, make sure you remove the battery. Don't do what I'm about to do. This is me testing to find out why the machine turns off when you take it apart. I found that the back half of the motherboard has to be covered for the machine to turn on. I believe it's because right here on the back of the motherboard is a light sensor. It's just a cool feature that I haven't seen on any other tattoo machine. To remove the cam, hold the cam to the side like this and use the tool that they provided to you and unscrew the grub screw. Just tap the machine a little bit upside down and the cam should come off. Here's what the other side of the motor looks like. It's literally just a shaft that sticks out of the motor body that spins at a high RPM. You can also see 4 screws that mounts the motor to the body. We're not going to be removing the motor in this video. Here I am installing the 3.7 cam back onto the tattoo machine. The 3.7 cam is what comes pre-installed on your tattoo machine, and it's what Acus suggests you use for most things. I've been personally using the 4.1 stroke cam at M mode +2 for literally all my tattoos, and I'll explain to you guys why in just a little bit. It's important to put your cam on tight, but make sure you don't over tighten it to where you wreck anything. After you put on your new cam, it's important to use the silicone grease provided to you with your tattoo machine right on the end of the drive bar. That's what she said. Put it together the reverse way you took it apart, once again being careful of stripping any threads. This design is amazing as long as you do not strip your threads. This is the small grip that comes standard on the original version of this tattoo machine. It's nice to have a variety of different grips, but don't expect me to say anything good about this one. The Plus grip from Acus tattoo machines is one of the best grips I've ever used, and the small grip is probably mediocre at best. Apart from the standard grip being way too small to even put grip tape on, I never liked on a tattoo machine when you loosen the grip and you could see the under part of the grip exposed. In this case, on this tattoo machine, I'm talking about that silver part showing at the bottom of the grip. I've always just thought that a tattoo machine looks dirty when you see that part. FK Irons is one of the first companies to solve that issue by making the grip slide under that center ring on their machine. But that's absolutely no issue when you're using the plus size grip. In fact, this plus size grip feels even better than any of the FK Irons grips. That's because at the base of the plus size grip, it tapers down to that center ring on the Acus machine. That way, it feels like that center ring around the Acus machine actually feels like a part of the grip compared to the FK Irons machine where it actually protrudes higher, getting in the way of your hand. Acus also sells a heavy grip separately on their website. The heavy grip has the same form factor as the small standard grip, other than this one literally feels like Thor's hammer. Having a heavier grip gives your tattoo machine more front weight, and this can help with doing line work and color packing. I believe they are achieving this by making the grip out of steel rather than on the standard grip is made out of aluminum. The lightest grip is the standard grip at 37.6 grams. The plus grip comes in right around 65 grams. As Thor's hammer comes in at a whopping 107.47 grams, which makes the heavy grip almost 3 times heavier than the standard grip. And then this was very surprising. The Acus with the plus grip, the only grip that anyone's gonna care about, is only 206 grams. Having this machine at 206 grams means that it is one of the lightest tattoo machines on the market with an integrated battery. It is extremely impressive to think that this tattoo machine could be that light, considering it has a fairly large motherboard on the inside and it's fully modular and you could take it apart, and that's not even the small grip. With a small grip, this tattoo machine weighs in just under 180 grams. That's insane. All right, now I want to talk to you guys about machine characteristics and how this tattoo machine feels very, very different than other tattoo machines. These 2 images were made by Acus, and you can find them on their Instagram page. So the image on the left here, we will see that this is hertz on the left-hand side, converted into volts on the right-hand side of this left chart. And then on this right side, we have the different M modes, and then converted into the different watts that it's feeding to the motor in those modes. At first, with the 3.7 cam and M2 at the strongest mode that this tattoo machine has, the tattoo machine felt extremely soft, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, amps is everything in tattooing, and if you guys do not know what amps do to your tattoo machine, watch this video on my YouTube channel where I break down volts, amps, and hertz, and you guys will better understand what I'm going to be saying. Essentially, the more amps you have when you're tattooing, the more consistent and strong your needle is going to be running. And right here, I have a calculator that's going to convert watts and volts into amps. When I first got this tattoo machine, I was running it around 110 hertz, which is 10.5 volts. So we're going to type that in right here, 10.5 volts. And then for my watts, I was running this at about M in the M2 mode, which is 12 watts. So let's type that in, 12 watts. Let's calculate that. And we will see right here, it is just over 1 amp. It's 1.1 amps. Now, from what we know from tattooing, 1.1 amps is hardly anything. It's not that much. The needle at that amperage is going to not be consistent, even in, not consistent or hitting the skin hard, even in the hardest mode, M2. But this is where this tattoo machine becomes one of the best, most amazing tattoo machines I've ever used. And watch this. So we will see here, I was at 10 volts. Let's bring it down here to 80 hertz, which is 7.5 volts, and let's see what happens. Let's type that in, 7.5 volts. All right, let's calculate that, and let's see what happens to our amps. Boom, we're almost at 2 full amps. And if you guys know batteries on a wireless tattoo machine, the limit that I believe that batteries can go up to on a wireless tattoo machine is up to 2 amps, and we're almost there currently with this setup. What I'm trying to paint the picture of with you guys here is that this machine is actually very efficient because it's packing the ink in better into the skin at lower voltages. With all my other tattoo machines, I run around 110 to 120 hertz on those tattoo machines, and I'm getting that same effect that I would with those machines at those hertz with this machine, but at way lower hertz. In return, causing way less trauma to the skin and allowing your battery life to last a lot longer. Hopefully I'm not boring you guys and you guys are understanding what I am trying to tell you. Let me look right here. So 3 volts right here, the lowest voltage that this machine goes. Let's plug that in and see what happens to our amps. 3 volts, calculate it. 4 amps. What? Literally, this tattoo machine at 36 hertz on M2 mode with 12 watts going to the motor, this tattoo machine becomes one of the best tattoo machines for stippling. It goes very, very slow and it hits like a jackhammer. Now I'm going to show you guys how to wrap the tattoo machine, and then we're going to try it out on some practice skin. Now it's going to sound dumb for me to say this, but you guys are going to want to make sure that the battery is inside of the tattoo machine before you wrap it. Once your tattoo machine is wrapped, it is hard to access the battery without unwrapping it. KINGPIN Tattoo Supplies has this really awesome sticky machine barrier that you guys could buy off their website. I'll leave a link down in the description. For this demonstration, we're going to be using standard saran wrap, medical grade tape, and tattoo machine co-band or grip tape. Now, as a disclaimer, I suggest you guys wrap this tattoo machine however you feel is safe for you and your client. You guys don't have to listen to me and how I do it. Do whatever makes you guys feel the safest. Now we are starting with the saran wrap as a protective barrier under the grip tape, and I fold it over the back half of the machine covering the display and controls. And then I use the medical grade tape to tape down on the seam of the grip, so when you twist the grip it doesn't come undone. And then I also tape down any loose edges on the saran wrap. I then twist the grip so we can rip the saran wrap so the grip can spin freely. I then start applying the grip tape just under the seam of that grip, going up all the way up to the display. I bring the grip tape up all the way throughout the whole machine, all the way onto the buttons on the back of the machine, leaving the display visible. The machine display and buttons are still very easy to access even through all the machine wrap. I then wrap the grip of the machine as high up as I can to the cartridge hole, and I put as much grip tape on as I feel like I'll need. The end result should look fairly nicely and professional, where we have grip tape over the entire machine where you can still see the display and that the grip spins freely. I love how this machine looks wrapped, and I love that the display is on the back of the machine, so it gives us that freedom to wrap the entire machine up with grip tape. All right guys, I am just setting up right now so we can work on this piece of practice skin. I'm going to go through all the M modes here on this tattoo machine, and I'm going to kind of talk you guys through the process of what I am feeling while I'm using this tattoo machine. I do want to warn you guys that I am about 4 days in on filming right now and over 200 hours of testing, and this camera that I'm using to film right now is really pissing me off. It is not autofocusing, so I got manual focus on right now, so it's just been a struggle so far throughout this whole video. So if you guys are still watching this up to this point, please hit the like button. I think we could get over 50 to 100 likes. If we get that, it'll definitely cheer me up because this has been so stressful. All right, so the ink that we're going to be using is, we're only going to be using one ink because I'm lazy and I only got one ink to bring back home for filming. So what we're going to be using is the solid ink lining black. It's just straight black. And we're going to be using the 17 curve bug pin mag. Trying to get it into focus for you guys. I'm using that, the 17 curve bug pin mag, and we're just going to go through all the M modes. I'm going to be brushing the mag into the practice skin, and we're going to see what results we get with it. Now I do want to state that I am using the 3.7 cam stroke length inside this tattoo machine. It is the stroke length that Acus suggests everyone uses, or it's the one that comes stock in the machine that they suggest that people use, just because it is a good all-around stroke length. If you use a shorter stroke length, it's going to be very soft. Just that would probably be specialized more for permanent makeup or just pure black and gray shading. And then any of the longer stroke lengths are going to be more for like Japanese artists or like just straight color artists and stuff like that. I will also tell you guys that I am used to using the 4.1 stroke on this tattoo machine. I personally just like the 4.1 stroke. I honestly feel like this 3.7 stroke inside of this is just a little too soft. Believe it or not, guys, this tattoo machine is a very soft hitting machine. That's why I tried to break it down for you guys, where if you lower the voltage, it actually packs a lot better. But still, even at lower voltages, I still prefer to have the 4.1 stroke just so I'm picking up more ink as I'm working. Now, this tattoo machine has a whole bunch of different modes. It has a -3, a -2, a -1, a 0, a +1, a +2. Honestly, guys, the +2 is the most direct drive you're going to get with this machine. You would think it would be 0, right? You would think it would be 0, and then anything over 0 is like almost like overclocking your machine, but it's not really like that. Honestly, the most direct drive and strongest you're going to get is, you know, +2, and then everything under that, you got to think of everything under the +2 kind of as like an E-give, kind of like what you would get with like FK Iron's tattoo machine. They have an E-give mode where when you turn it on and you go down in the modes or whatever, it makes your machine softer. This is similar to that. I would just suggest that everyone starts at M2 and then go down from there, because when you use mode 0, it is very, very soft. Okay guys, I'm switching through the M modes right now, and right away you can feel the torque changing. It almost feels like the voltage is changing, but it's actually the torque inside the motor. So I'm at 0 right now. It feels like hardly any torque. I just feel it like the vibrations are going lower, you know, inside the machine. The lower I put the M mode, and then when I put it up, you just feel it in the machine. There's not a lot of vibration in this machine, but you can feel the torque raising in it, so you can definitely feel switching through the modes. So honestly, I haven't used a lot of the M mode just because I've been using M2 for everything. All right, currently we are in the M2 mode, and we're just going to use M2 mode, and then we're going to go down from there and see what kind of results we all get. Okay, I'm feeling it. It feels pretty standard. It doesn't feel like crazy powerful or anything. It's probably because I'm using the 3.7 cam, but look at that, dude. It just went right in. We're at 100. We're at 100 hertz right now. I'm gonna do just a little bit more because that was fun. I'm hovering over a microphone, and it's really hard to actually tattoo in this position. Hopefully my head's not in the way. Oh yeah, that feels good. If I lower the voltage, you'll actually feel more punchy, and it will actually saturate even more. I'm going to keep it at 100 hertz though for this whole thing. All right, now we're going to switch this down to M1. And we're going to see if we notice any difference. I feel the difference instantly in the tattoo machine. I feel the torque lower in the machine. It almost feels like I was saying, like it almost feels like it's a lower, you know, it almost feels like it's going slower just because there's less vibrations now in M1. Okay. Let me try to do this. I feel like there's a big shadow blocking you guys. Oh yeah, I feel like I feel it instantly. It's definitely softer. It's definitely softer. It still went in very, very well. It's definitely softer than M2. Now we're gonna go to 0. So this is the standard mode that most people would think you use a tattoo machine in. I know when I first picked up this machine and I was using the 3.7 at 100 hertz and the M0 mode, this tattoo machine just feels so soft, which is good. It's good to be soft because you know you're not just destroying the skin, but it's to the point where you feel like you have to work more. You know what I'm saying? Like with the tattoo machine, you want to get that ink in as quick as possible so you can get out of that area. And that's why I'm always running at the M2 mode. Okay, let's try M0. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely super, super soft. M0 is super, super soft. It feels really good though, like it would be great for black and gray. Yeah, feels soft. It almost reminds me of the responsive mode on this, like responsive mode 1 on the Cheyenne Soul Nova tattoo machine. And the funny thing about that is that the creator of this machine created this machine. It's the same guy. So it makes me wonder if they are using a similar like formula between the different modes. I'm going to be making a whole nother video on that. Just because this video, like I said, 4 days in and my camera's not working. I got to figure out my camera solution before I go super, super, super in depth on this. Okay, so now we're in M mode -1 and instantly I feel the machine like I almost feel like I can make this machine bog down if I push hard enough. Almost like the FK Irons machine can bog down if you push it really hard in those modes. I feel like I could do that with this, and we'll try that in just a second. All right, let's see how this goes. -1. Yeah, so I do feel the machine slowing down. Like right there, I just snagged the needle. It's going so slow that the needle snagged. I don't know if you guys heard it at home. And we're at 100 hertz. So 100 hertz, needle snagged. Now, I don't have that issue when I use the responsive and steady mode on this machine. So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Okay, let's go down to M mode -2. Let me get some of this Vaseline out of my cartridge. Oh yeah, I'm just holding the machine right here. Let me try to show you guys this. Okay, so we're in M mode -2, and I just put my finger right here, and I felt the needle slow down. Yeah, I can almost stop the needle. Just because the motor doesn't have enough torque to push through. So, like I said, just taking my finger, putting it at the end of this cartridge, and you can almost completely, I don't want to wreck the motor on this tattoo machine, but you can almost completely stop the motor, which I did not have that issue. If you would call it an issue, you can use it as an effect, but I didn't have that result with the Cheyenne Soul Nova, the new one. All right, so now let's try M mode -2 on the practice skin and see what we're gonna have. I could already just feel it's too slow for me, just because like the torque itself, like the whole machine feels like it's, you know, bogging down already. Some people might like that. I currently just don't. I don't even like the feeling in my hand. Ooh, it's definitely soft though. Yeah, it's bogging out. I can feel it. So the reason why it's bogging down is because it does not have enough amps flowing through to the motor to push it through that friction. You could just feel it like instantly that there is like almost no amps available to it. And the crazy thing about this is that we actually have an M mode -3. And if anyone's using this, you're crazy. I mean, some people might like it. I could just tell I don't like it. I probably stopped liking it at around M mode 0. Everything under that does not seem efficient to me, unless you're trying to go for some kind of like textured effect or something, because I just don't feel like it's smooth. And we'll try it at other voltages also. But here's M mode -3, and let's see what happens. Ooh, it's definitely... Okay, now I get it. Now that's pretty soft, actually. That actually felt pretty soft. Look at that. We got a fairly nice gradient going on, just like same hand pressure, just going through the M modes. Like I said, after M mode 0, the machine does become a little inconsistent because it is running out of that amperage. And when it runs out of that amperage, like I said, the needle just starts to bog down. And you feel it instantly. And I felt it also with the M mode -3. Yet it did not stick in the skin kind of like it did with the other two M modes. Let's actually try it at 80 hertz. And then let's try it back at M mode 2. Ooh, I just feel it instantly. I just feel the strength instantly when I go back to M mode 2. All right, now we're in M mode 2 at 80 hertz, and we are going to go right under this section right here, and we're going to try more, but at lower hertz. Oh yeah, that feels good. Right away, that's the feeling that I like to feel. Instantly. The ink, you can just feel the ink going right in. It's punching it in really, really good, really, really quick. And it's not too quick. It's like, I feel it not damaging the skin. Like, I could easily do black and gray at that hertz, with that amount of hertz, at M mode 2. Like, it felt smooth, but went in very solid. Alright, I'm going to try to bog down the machine real quick at 80 hertz on M mode 2, and we're going to do it right in front of this other M2 spot. Very difficult, because it has... Ooh, I'm tearing up the skin a little bit. Very difficult to bog it down. I actually don't even think it's bogging down at all, because it has a lot more amps going to the motor. And yep, I tore the skin up a little bit. Alright, now we're in M mode 1 at 80 hertz. Let's go in front of this one and see how it feels. Ooh, that feels good right away. That would be great for black and gray. Oh yeah, definitely smooth feeling. That was nice feeling. I liked how that felt. It's almost like M2 right here at 80 hertz. Use that for line work and color. Or M1 at 80 hertz. Use that for black and gray. That just felt really smooth. Like, I didn't feel like the edges of the needle like snagging or anything. Now we got to remember, at the lower hertz, we actually have more amperage to our machine, so it should be bogging down less to begin with. Alright, now let's try M mode 0 at 80 hertz and see how it feels. These two felt really, really good. I still like the M2 the most. It's definitely punchy feeling. Oh, but it's so smooth. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Look at that big gradients difference. That's a big gradient difference. Let's try that. Let's go right over the same spot again and see if we get it darker. Ooh. Ooh. That's still a pretty big gradient difference just going there, and we were using straight black people. Okay, M mode -1. Hopefully the camera's picking up everything, because don't really want to film all of this again. Alright, M mode -1 at 80 hertz. Let's see how this goes. I have a feeling we're going to start snagging a little bit. Let's try it. Oh, not really much snagging. Oh, a little bit at the end there. You just got to slow your hand down, I think, when using this machine. At lower M modes, you're going to want to slow your hand down. Like if you're under M0, you're going to want to slow your hand down for sure. Because the machine just starts running out of those amps to chug through it, you know? Alright, M mode -2. Straight black. I do notice a gradient difference still happening. Alright, M2, 80 hertz. Let's see how it goes. Definitely less snagging. Still less snagging. It's starting to look a little choppier. Like I could kind of see the individual dot marks now from my needle compared to the other ones. It's a little harder to see. I'm seeing it now as I go lower. And I don't know what the calculator says for our watts and volts to amps, but I mean, we have to be at like 1 amp right now. And like I said, you kind of want to be around at least 2 amps when using the machine, otherwise it's going to bog down. Okay, we're in M mode -3. So far, it all feels better at lower voltages. When I was at higher voltages, there is a lot of snagging and inconsistencies just in these ones particular, like the last 3 modes. So far, these are way more consistent, way more consistent feeling. You feel way less snagging at lower voltages, at lower hertz. Okay, we're going to try M mode 3, 80 hertz. See how it goes. Ooh, definitely. It almost feels like stipply, you know, like a traditional whip shade. Ooh, the ink like barely went in. It's punchy, but it's not going in, if that makes any sense. Oh yeah, that's weird. It's definitely weird at lower voltages. I just don't like this machine really under M0. Everything under M0, I don't know. I just prefer, you know, to have the extra amps available to know that the ink is going in at a good rate to where it's not causing more damage to the skin than it has to. So we're going to go back up to M2, but then we're going to raise the voltage. And what did we do at first? 100? We're going to go to 120 hertz, which is pretty fast for this tattoo machine. You guys will notice that other machines, like the FK Irons machine, you could run this at 120 hertz and it feels pretty good. This machine is a completely different beast at this speed. 120 hertz on this tattoo machine is way different. Okay, M2, 120 hertz, straight black. We're gonna go right here. Hopefully my head's not in the way. Holy shit. It just feels really, really fast. It feels smooth, but it feels really, really fast. Went in pretty good. That just felt like it was hitting the skin so fast. This is not something I would recommend doing. It sounded like a weed whacker or something, like cutting grass. Okay, I'm not going to try to like stop that motor or anything. I'm not going to try to like pound it down and see if I can stop it at that speed. Just because it is pretty crazy. I feel like I'll like gut right through the skin. All right, now we are at M+1 at 120 hertz. Let's go right in front of that spot and see what happens. Honestly, it doesn't feel too bad at all. Definitely goes in solid still. It doesn't feel bad. I felt it snagging a little bit there at the end. This machine in general, just slow your hand down, lower the voltages. But you have a wide range of stuff you can do with this tattoo machine with just 1 cam stroke length in it. You can literally make this machine go as soft as you can possibly get, and you can make it hit as hard as you could possibly want to hit. This tattoo machine feels... A lot of these tattoo machines feel like a little bit different, but this one is like a whole different machine altogether. All right, we're in M mode 0 at 120 hertz. Feels like it's going in smooth. Feels like it's going in smooth. It's using all the power it has to go fast that it loses power in the hit, if that makes sense. Maybe that's how I should be explaining it. All right, we're in M mode -1. Let's start cranking through these. Oh yeah, instantly I felt the snag. Oh, it's weird. It's like, to be fair, I am in kind of a weird position trying to do this. If I had like an armrest in front of me with like proper 45-degree angle from the surface, it'd probably go a little better for me. Right now I am standing in like such a weird position. Okay, M mode -2, 120 hertz. See how it goes. Not horrible. I still feel the needle not being consistent. I feel it like fluttering. I don't know if that's all in my head. I don't think it is though. All right, M mode -3. Like, it's pretty consistent overall. It's just in the lower M modes you feel it really stop being consistent. Yeah. Yep, out of all of them, I like this one. And what was this one? This was all the M modes in 80 hertz, I believe it was. That was still the most consistent and felt the best. These ones, this one feels fast, but it starts getting inconsistent. Like, as soon as the needle hits all this off the skin, the needle starts to become inconsistent. This one was fairly inconsistent. This one was probably the most consistent. That is literally why I'm running this machine at lower voltages. 120 hertz, M -3. Put my finger right here. I can literally stop the motor. It's going down to like 5 hertz. Like, I'm not even kidding. I could like stop the motor. Similar to with the Flux machine. Okay guys, right now I have the Sol Nova 3.5 stroke. This is the Sol Nova 2. There's a whole video on my YouTube channel about this. I am going to go way more in depth on these modes and compare them to each other. Just because I already did the Acus and I have the M modes set up and I just did those right now and I just felt them and they're, you know, in my mind and or whatever. I am curious real quick to just feel what this one feels like. So this is steady mode, and let's see how that feels real quick. It feels really good. This is a good machine. This is a good machine. Definitely smooth though. That felt good. That felt good. All right, let's go into responsive mode, which is what Cheyenne's mode is for eGive. Okay, so responsive mode is supposed to work a little bit like that M mode. And so this is almost like shader mode. So we just switched it to shader mode. Let's see what it does. God, I just don't know if any company could beat that. It just feels so good. I just touched it to the skin and instantly it just felt so smooth. God, that's a weird feeling. It's a very weird feeling. Okay, let's go into responsive mode 2. Okay, so we got to click it twice like that to go into the super secret mode, which is called responsive mode 2. Let me just feel that on the skin real quick. Let me bring this closer because I am leaning like super far over. Yeah, you can't get that feeling. You can't get that super responsive mode 2 feeling with the Acus. You just can't. Because it feels soft. It feels soft, but it's not snagging. Like, even the entry feels soft. Like, the entry, when it first touches the skin, it feels soft. And in the super responsive mode 2 on this, let's try to bog this down. So we're at 9 volts. Let's try to stop the needle when we push it down. Let's do it over here so we're not in a big shadow. It does not bog down. It is not bogging down, so it still has the full amount of amps going to it. It's just hitting the skin softer. And I do not know how they're achieving it. I know the owners of Acus knows how Cheyenne is doing it because they have worked with them in the past and they have worked to design the first couple generations of responsive mode, so they should know. And you would think that they brought that over to here, and I just don't feel it the same as it is like with the Cheyenne. And that could be because there's a lot more modes in this. There's like 5 modes in this, right? -3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 5, 6, or 6 modes inside of this. So there's a lot more wiggle room for air and stuff in between those modes. And then this machine just has 2 very perfect modes. And then the responsive mode 2 is just really, really crazy. So there's less modes that they're working with, so you feel more of a difference when you switch between them. And then this one is more like a gradual step down between the modes, so you don't feel them as much when switching through them. Still, with using all the modes, I do like the Cheyenne Soul Nova, but I still prefer the Acus over it, just because it just feels like you could do more with it. With one machine, it just feels like you could do everything. Like I could be using just M mode 2, step it down 1, and then now I could be doing really, really soft portraits. I could step it down 1 more, and I could be doing like under the eyelids on like a portrait where you want to be like super soft. You don't want to mess that up. You want to be super soft, but anything under 0, M mode 0, I just feel like it gets a little inconsistent. Maybe maybe I'm wrong about this, but we're gonna be doing more testing in future videos. I plan on making a huge video in the future going over all the electronic gives and mechanical gives and all the tattoo machines once I get my camera situation figured out. I posted on YouTube asking you guys what questions you had on the Acus tattoo machine, and we're gonna go through all those questions right now. And here we go. So I said, what questions do you have on the Acus M1 tattoo machine? I'll answer all relevant questions in the review video. All right, this is the review video. Here we go. So our first comment is from Dirt Nipper. Nice name, by the way. Compare the weight, the build quality, sounds and vibrations, and general running characteristics to other recently reviewed high-end machines. Maybe a follow-up video with your top 3 to 5 machines and what styles they might be best suited for. Okay, I actually have a lot of videos planned in the future where we're going to do just like standalone videos where we compare a lot of different machines to other machines. And I actually do, before the end of the year, I do want to make like my top 5 machines of the year video. So those videos are all coming. All right, the next comment is from the mind of Mr. Figs. And he asks, does the machine run like the Hawk Pen or the Soul Nova? Does changing the cam seem tedious? Yeah, okay, so the changing the cams does not seem tedious because you basically find the right cam for you, so you don't have to change it. It's not like like all the stroke adjustable ones. It's nice to do on the fly. This is kind of one where you just find the right one for you, and then you just stick with it. And then does the machine run like the Hawk Pen or Soul Nova? They both run good. The Hawk Pen and the Soul Nova ran pretty good. I personally didn't like the Hawk Pen too much. It was just a very small like form factor for me, like thin wise. And then the Soul Nova, the Soul Nova is great. And then what else did you say? Is it overkill having all of the different settings and adjustments? Is it worth the buy compared to other brands? So this tattoo machine, I very highly suggest this tattoo machine to you guys. Like I'm not even just trying to suck up the Acus here. I'm like 100% serious, guys. This is my #1 tattoo machine I'm going to be using from here on out until Acus comes out with another one. And I'm really hoping that Acus comes out with one that has the 32 milliamp battery, just because, I do tattoos every single day that are over 5 hours long. I typically do like 7 to like 10 hour tattoos every single day, so my battery is definitely dying in between sessions, and I'll typically have to take like a lunch break, switch out the battery and stuff. And what were we talking about here? Is it overkill having different adjustments? There's actually, we did the math on it. Me and my lady actually sat down and we did some math. There, between all of the different M modes and stroke lengths and grips, there is over 75. I believe that's what we came up with. There's over 75 different configurations with this tattoo machine. So, I mean, if this tattoo machine doesn't work for you, it's not the machine, it's you. I'm trying to finish this video and I'm on a whole bunch of caffeine, and it's 8 p.m. right now, and I want to get this video up tonight. That's why I'm talking fast and trying to get through these questions quick. All right, and then the next question is from Ito Tattoo, and they say, can you set up volts? I'm sure they meant volts. Can you set up volts and hertz, like on FK Iron's Powerbolt 2, or it's more like presets, like on the Cheyenne Unlimited? Let me think here. So switching between, the display only stays at hertz, You cannot switch the display to volts, and that is a good thing because all tattoo machines should honestly be hertz. Volts are different between different tattoo machines, like this tattoo machine. When you run this at 7 volts, it is way different than this tattoo machine at 7 volts. So we want to be looking at the hertz because the hertz is the same between tattoo machines. I have a whole video on my channel about hertz. And then what else did he say? Like on the FK Irons Powerbolt 2? No. Or it's more like presets like on the Cheyenne Unlimited. So there is no presets on this tattoo machine either. Hopefully I answered your question properly. I am assuming you are from another country. Thank you so much for watching. All right, and then the next question is from Condova Tattoo Adore, and they ask, how does the E-Give compare to the Cheyenne Steady and Responsive mode? All right, so this is a big one because some people aren't gonna like me to say this, but the responsive and steady mode is better on the Cheyenne tattoo machine, but that does not make the Solnova better than this machine. And the reason why is because you could change the stroke length. Like the amount of value you get in this tattoo machine is so much higher because you could change the stroke length. And then also on the Solnova, the battery is not built into it. The battery is built into this. And then I also love that the display and buttons are at the bottom of the machine. So when you wrap it, you can wrap it fully in grip. I just think that looks very professional. And this tattoo machine is just so lightweight. It feels really weird when you first get it out of the package and you hold it, because it feels like a feather. It's like weird. It feels so lightweight, but then the balance is so good on it. Like you could just feel it instantly. Like everything about this machine is just so well manufactured and engineered that it's kind of just mind blowing when you play around with it. But for me, to get back to your question asking about the M mode versus the responsive mode, I like the M mode on this. I am running it at M mode 2 just for the more torque going to the motor and more amps and everything. It just feels more steady at M2 compared to when you get down below M0. I'm just not liking that stuff below M0, but I mean, I could get everything done at M2, and then sometimes I put it down to M1 if I need it to be a little more smooth with like my black and gray. All right, and then the very last question that we got is right here by Ink by Alex, and he's asking, is it the newest FAULHABER which the Nova 2 has, or the previous version? So what the FAULHABER is he's talking about the motor. It is the FAULHABER brand, and is it the same as the Nova 2? I do not know, and I'm sorry for not being able to figure that out for you guys in this video. I'm linking the FAULHABER motor down in the description below, and hopefully maybe if you figure it out, maybe you can let me know. I'm assuming it's the newest motor. I think it is a custom version of that newest motor, and I believe the Nova has a custom version of that motor also. So how we know if the stats are the same is it's hard to tell because these companies don't really tell you on what they made custom about that motor. Hopefully that answers your question, Alex. We are getting to the point right now with tattoo motors where they are limited by material science and physics. Machines are starting to get to the point where you are limited by the materials that are inside that motor. To make the motor any better, it might take a more expensive material, and we might not be willing to pay the extra couple hundreds to $1,000 that those materials might cost to make the motor more efficient. And then those materials might also add weight to it. So we are pretty much at a pretty good spot with machine motors currently. And I mean, you can get like a good 5 years out of these motors without them breaking. The only way I think you're gonna make this better is if you water cool it like a PC or something to try to get temperatures down inside, which the temperatures are already very low, but if you get them even lower, it might add more efficiency to it or something crazy. You might have to do something crazy if you want motors to get better, because we are pretty much, we have all the science and we are pretty much there currently. I think FAULHABER is going to continue to keep making new motors. I hope to see them improve any heat or efficiency with these motors, because the more efficient your tattoo machine is, the more power you got behind your needle. That was a fun little rant to go on, but I think FAULHABER is doing great, and I think Acus is geniuses, so I think they're going to be doing whatever it takes to make their machines the best they can. So I do want to point this out to everyone, because I did get a lot of questions on Instagram asking me how I got the Acus M1 tattoo machine here in the United States. I ended up doing a partnership deal with Acus, and that's how I got mine, but you can get the tattoo machine in the United States, and let me show you. Right here on Element Tattoo Supplies, the machine is available for you. It is, if you want the plus version, it's $1,226.99. But not only that, if you guys go over to the Acus website you guys could order it also. Everyone in the United States could have been ordering it off the Acus website, and it's in a different currency. It's not in United States currency, but what happens is when you put it in your cart and you pay for it, it will in your cart, it will still show the wrong currency, but when you pay for it, it's going to come out in your currency to your bank account and get shipped to you in the United States. Acus is aware that their website has that error to it where it does not show you the proper currency. They have to do that for tax reasons because it's going to show up on their like tax bill or something. They tried explaining it to me. I believe them. The only issue with that is that I waited to get this machine for a whole year because I didn't think it was in the United States because I didn't know that that was how you were supposed to order it. So if you guys have an issue with that, just order it off of Element Tattoo Supplies where it's going to be in your currency. So it's going to be easier for you in the United States to write it off on your taxes. Between testing this tattoo machine and filming, we're around 230 hours into all this. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys smash the like button on this video. Let's get us up to 100 likes and make sure you guys subscribe because we're going to hit 4,000 subscribers real soon. Love you guys. Peace out.